Hello. So it is 5:55 on July 25th, 2025. And let's see. So I've been sort of asked to make this video for a couple weeks now by my guides, and basically this isn't easy for me to do. I'm usually one that sits in the background, sort of, doesn't do much vocally, I should say. But they're trying to push me to get out of that box. So here we are. So basically, here's where I'm going to start. So I identify as a starseed. While it is just an identity, it's also entrenched in truth for me. I identify as part of the Urmah lineage, which is a race of feline humanoid beings. They don't. So for me, they don't like to assign themselves to a dimension or a density per se. And basically what they're saying that this is that truth is key, especially here on Earth, where we feel limited and oftentimes expressed through these densities or dimensions in a way to limit ourselves or who we are. So just right off the back there. But the Urmah themselves are considered to be a spiritual warrior race who operates within the lines of divine sovereignty. And what this means really is that they really wish for every soul in any carnation to really be able to express themselves to the best of their ability and live in such a way that isn't restricting, but also along the lines of the universal law of free will, which they do have to respect at the same time. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we're in a time of divine change, which I'm sure a lot of people have noticed. Because a lot is going on. You can't have change without turmoil. You can't progress without, or I should say, better put, as you can't necessarily evolve without having also a process of involution, because evolution always follows involution, going inward to go out, if that makes any sense. Let's see, what else? I don't know. But I guess getting down to the nitty-gritty, I don't know. I'm nervous if you can't tell. But, so especially with the whole Lionsgate portal coming up here in, well, I think starting tomorrow, they really wanted me to express, well, first of all, express myself in a new way, let's say. Put myself out there. Even though it's not my favorite thing, but yeah, here we are. But also to just express to everyone that change is coming. Not that change isn't a constant, which it is, but they really want me to put out there just a new wave of change, I guess, because basically the universe is full of complexity, in a sense. In another sense, it's not really that complex, but in how it's expressed in itself, it is quite complex and very hard to explain. Very hard to explain. And for people who understand, I'm sure they can relate that when you know things about the universe, it is very hard to explain them fully. But yeah. So, I guess now getting back to me, which I love. So basically, they want me to make sure that I express the fact that I am an Urmah avatar. So that means that I am in this physical body now, while I also have a, let's say, body per se, somewhere else. Which, yeah, fun, right? Fun. But, yeah. And, this might be hard for people to watch. I struggle through my nervousness here. But let me just say, so in this case, my actual body is in a stasis chamber in somewhere orbiting around the star Sirius A. While that isn't necessarily that body's home, it is where he basically went to school. So, but see, as far as his home goes, he comes from a star that we all know as Regulus, or the Heart of the Lion, Leo. It's the brightest star in the constellation of Leo. They call the planet Tolo. It's beautiful, very beautiful. lots of water. Most of the beings there live in cave systems, and the plants there are bright purple. Bright purple. Just very contrasting to here. And if you understand, like, the science behind why plants might be a different color, basically, to put it simply, in order for plant life to adapt to other planets around different stars, such as Regulus A, which is a blue-white star. These star colors actually represent the level of radiation that they emit. And so in order for a plant life to adapt to be able to survive on said planet, their colors basically have to be different in order to be able to reflect the harmful light and, intake light that's beneficial for their growth. Yeah. So, it's a little about the other me. Also about me, I will say this is only my second Earth incarnation. First time was in Atlantis. So, long time ago. Over 12,500 years ago. I worked in the, I worked in the priesthood, you could say. Yeah. In that lifetime, I was blind, actually. Fun fact. So, yeah. And then, I guess, you could probably notice that I'm wearing a lot of fun crystals and all that fun stuff, and that is because in Atlantis I worked with the crystalline structures, from physical, crystals such as these, or even water, because water is a crystalline substance. And you might be wondering, why are you wearing so much? I've heard it's not a great thing, but to that I would have to say, most people's nervous system cannot handle the amount of energy that, they might receive from having so many crystals on them. But once you understand the mechanics of crystalline structures, and the fact that they are divine intelligence, let's say, then you understand that they can be programmed to work in harmony with each other. And see, so basically the way I usually phrase it is that they work like keys. So let's say keys on a piano. You're trying to formulate a song out of these keys on a piano. And so, let's say this is a fancy tech keyboard of sorts, and so in order for you to build this song, or for the keyboard to build a song, let's say, these keys create a tune that is supportive of each other. And basically what this implies is they act in resonance. And I firmly do believe that intelligence, especially crystalline intelligence, does interact with each other and with all of creation in a kind of resonance. So, basically, what you see on me is all that I have deemed part of my own personal, melody, in which they support my expression as the need arises, which then also implies that they don't create dissonance with each other, if that makes any sense. So this is my first video, so I'm sure I'm going to be doing more, but if anyone wants better explanation about that, I can do that. But yeah. Let's see, what else? What else do they want me to talk about? Okay. So basically what they're saying also on top of that is I'm gonna crush a few people's dreams here, but so that what I've been told is that the true idea behind magic has been distorted to a point where magic, in the sense that we have come to see it, no longer exists. So what they have adopted, and they want me to share here, is that, well, on top of that, they do want people to stop using the word belief, because it implies not being an experience or in the experience of something. It implies you're blindly putting your faith into something, which you should never do. Never do. Never do, please. But yeah, basically they say magic isn't real, but the caveat, shall I say, is that how am I gonna say this? So if magic isn't real, what they want me to say is that instead we should walk a path of activation, which in a sense is to imply that we are always transforming and always interacting with the fabric of reality. If that makes any sense. I can go into more depth on that in another video, sure. Yeah. Yep. Well, I appreciate everyone who takes the time to view this video. I will be doing more. If you have any questions or things that you would like me to cover in another video, feel free to comment whatever questions. And I'll see if I can get to those sometime. Especially since they're pushing me to do more videos before the Lionsgate portal. Something to do with the Urmah themselves. Alright. Thank you guys again. And see you in the next video, I guess.